Hello, everybody. My name's Tor Clark, and I am Associate Professor in Journalism here at the University of Leicester, and I'd like to welcome you to our Digital Open Day. I'm going to talk to you about our course for about 25 minutes, and then I'm going to pause and deal with answer any of your questions. So if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A box, and we'll come to those at the end. So what we're looking at today is obviously a welcome from me. I'm going to tell you why our course why we think our course is special. We're going to look at what it's like to be a Leicester student. I'm also going to give you a rundown on the structure of the course and the course content. That's perhaps the most important part of what we're talking about today. I'm also going to do a little bit on how we look after our students and how you can apply to Leicester, and finish off, of course, with your questions. So the first question to ask really is, why would you study journalism? Well, of course, journalism is important. It shapes how we view the world. The world had two crises yesterday, one in South Korea and one in France. And I don't suppose, but it's possible, I suppose, but I don't suppose many of us here today were in either South Korea or France yesterday and would have known about either of those crises unless we had had access to journalism, and not just any journalism, but good journalism. A tweet, a piece of social media to say martial law's been declared in South Korea might have been incredibly worrying without the context, whereas the journalistic coverage of the rather strange declaration in South Korea showed us, hopefully, it wasn't anything to worry about. It's a good example of where journalism is much more useful than social media. Secondly, it's a lot of fun. If we can't run a journalism course without it being fun, we should not bother really. My students last week, my first year students, were out finding stories, and they came back and they said, wow, that was, we've had a really good session today. And I said, well, exactly that. If it should be fun, and if it isn't, we're not doing it right. And that brings me on to the third point. The BA Journalism at the University of Leicester offers you the opportunity both to do journalism, like my students were last week and like they will be doing tomorrow, and to study journalism and to be assessed in both. Studying journalism here at the University of Leicester will equip you for a vast range of communication careers, and our aim is to help you think like a journalist. That is our motto, and that reflects the fact that we are a very good university. You'll see later on we're in the top 30 universities in a number of areas, and so you really need to be thinking about journalism as well as doing journalism if you come to the University of Leicester, which is one of the best universities in the country in which you can study journalism. So let's have a look at our courses. We offer a BA Journalism, that's just journalism. BA Journalism and Media, that is 50% journalism, 50% media. BA Journalism and English, again, 50-50 split. BA Journalism and Marketing, that's the same. BA Journalism with Creative Writing, that is 75% journalism and 25% creative writing. And then all of those 5 programs are available with a year abroad or a year in industry. Quick look at our history before we look at the course content. The university was founded in 1921. It's one of only 2 universities in the world which were founded as a living memorial to the dead of the First World War, and they were set up by funded by the people of Leicester, Leicestershire and Rutland in an early version of crowdfunding. And the university motto is Ut Vitam Habeas, which means so that they may have life. The idea is the university is a lasting legacy to the people who sacrificed their lives in the First World War. The picture on the left of your screen is the Fielding Johnson building. At that time, you can see all the old ambulances in front of it. The Fielding Johnson building had been a lunatic asylum in Leicestershire before the First World War and was used as a hospital during the First World War. The man who ran the hospital was a doctor called Dr. Astley Clark. He was one of the people who were behind the move to create a university, and he wrote a letter to the local newspaper urging the community to fund a university as a memorial to the dead of the First World War. He was one of the early backers of the university, and when the second building was built, it was called the Astley Clark Building after him. And what's interesting today is that journalism students receive their workshops. They take part in their workshops in the Astley Clark Building, the building named after the man who suggested that we have a university, by writing a letter to the local paper. And to complete the circle, the local paper actually has offices in the same building as the staff of the journalism team. So everything goes round in a circle. And just one final thing really on our proud history. If you look at the photograph at the top of your screen, you'll notice something quite unusual about it from the 1920s. And that is that the staff, you can see two of the staff there are male, but all the graduates are female. Our first graduates were female, which was incredibly unusual in the 1920s. And I think this means that we set our stall out as a university which values equality, diversity and inclusion right from the start. And we continue that to this day. But you can go back and see that right when we started, that was our commitment, and it remains so. So let's move on to what we're doing these days. We've had a good year in terms of awards. The most important, I think, and thing you should be looking for as students looking for somewhere to go to university is we were awarded TEF Gold. TEF stands for Teaching Excellent Framework, and TEF Gold is the highest rank possible given to about 20% of UK universities. And this means that the learning and teaching opportunities for students are top quality. You don't want to go to a university that doesn't have a TEF Gold ranking, and we do. We're also the Daily Mail University of the Year for 2025, and we were also nominated and shortlisted for the Times and Sunday Times Good University Guide University of the Year and the Times Higher Education Supplement Good University Guide. So we're quite pleased at the university with the recognition we've achieved, but it represents a lot of hard work on behalf of our students over a period of time. Our campus is close to the city centre. It's about a 10-15 minute walk. We offer great academic and sports facilities. There's been huge investment into our campus. We have an O2 Academy on campus. I am told that is very important for our students. There's a digital study room in the library. There's a fantastic library, which is the building you can see in your picture there. It really is quite spectacular with this big glass front. We also have student accommodation, both slightly out of town in a suburb called Oadby and right next to the university at Freeman's Common. And if you want to have a really nice chill out, we also have a botanic garden quite near the student accommodation at Oadby Student Village. As I say, it's only a short walk to the city centre. The city is diverse and inclusive. It has the biggest Diwali festival outside India, and it has many coffee shops, clubs, bars, that sort of thing. Lots of sport going on in Leicester. In fact, on Sunday I shall be at the Leicester City game. But if you don't have to just be a football fan, there's rugby, there is cricket, and there is basketball, all of a very top quality. Lots of things going on. Great shopping. I did a little bit of my own Christmas shopping in the city centre yesterday. And of course, Leicester is right in the middle of the UK. It's a great place to come if you want to be visiting your friends and family in other parts of the UK. It sits on a main railway line that takes you north-south. The M1 takes you north-south, and there's the railway line going between Stansted and Birmingham that takes you east-west. So it really is a great place to base yourself. A little bit about media at Leicester. The Centre for Mass Communication Research was established at our university in 1966. It was the first research centre in the UK dedicated to the study of media and communication. And it is that organisation from which the current School of Arts, Media and Communication is based. The BA Journalism was launched in 2019. And we redeveloped the whole of the journalism programmes just because they've become very popular. And we had more staff over the last year, and the redeveloped journalism programme and two new joint programmes, journalism and English, journalism and marketing, will come on stream in September 2025. So if you are applying to come to us in 2025, you will be offered the redeveloped journalism program, or one of the new joints, or one of the two existing joint programs. We have to tell you what makes our course special as opposed to other courses, I think the thing perhaps which is most important is that we focus on core skills and key skills across all platforms. So in the first year, you will develop core skills like news writing, interviewing, and news gathering. These are the core skills of journalism, regardless of the platform or the technology. We have a broad focus on all aspects of journalism. You'll notice there's not a word in front of our BA journalism. It is just BA journalism because we look at all aspects: digital, social, print, broadcast, you name it, we focus on it. We also are very keen on employability, which runs right throughout the program. I mean, you can't really run a journalism course without it being fairly heavy on employability, because all the skills the students learn will be useful for them and will help build their employability. But we start thinking about your employability from day one. And in the third year, there's a placement module where students can go out, do a journalism themed placement, and actually have that count as part of their degree. I've seen the students who did that module just today, and they've spent this term on placement at media and public relations providers, and they've had a brilliant time, and they're about to do their assessment in that module. So it's one of the star attractions, I think, of our degree program. And what it means is it helps those students' CVs look really, really good. We have an equal focus on the practice and the theory of journalism. In many other universities, you will see they're more likely to favour one or the other. We think we have an equal focus, and indeed in some modules we blend the theory and the practice within the modules themselves, which we think is the right way to go. We have specialist pathways which allow our student to focus on areas which interest them. For example, we have a sports journalism pathway and a political journalism pathway. We have journalism facilities in the Astley Clark building that I mentioned earlier at the centre of campus, and this building includes new and developing facilities for our journalism students. So what you need to know now is what is actually on the course. So bear with me, because I'll take you through all 5 programs. So to start off with is the main journalism program, the BA journalism and the BA journalism with creative writing. So on this program, on the BA journalism, you do 2 basic skills modules, that is news basics and features journalism. You look at the issues behind journalism in key concepts in journalism, and the history of journalism in journalism history. If you are on the full BA journalism, the single honours programme, you also study radio journalism and journalism ethics and regulation. If you'd like to do journalism with creative writing, those latter 2 modules, which have an asterisk on them on the slide, are replaced by a creative writing module, 1 in each semester, and they're called Introduction to Creative Writing 1 and 2. In the second year of the full BA journalism, you would do digital and social media journalism in the first semester and researching journalism in the second semester. And you would choose 2 modules to study alongside those from the list below. Sorry, not 2 in total, 1 in each semester from the list there. Television journalism, the first sports journalism module, magazine journalism, post-truth journalism, arts and ents journalism, data journalism, journalism perspectives, journalism studies, and political communication. If you are interested in journalism with creative writing, you would study a creative writing module instead of those choices. So you need to think about which course you want to do if you are particularly interested in one of those specialisms, because you want as I say, you want to decide whether you want to do the full journalism program or journalism with creative writing. In the third year, all the students do the journalism publishing project modules, 1 in each semester, which are modules where you work with a team towards creating a website. And the journalism dissertation module, which used to be called journalism investigation, that's a module which runs all year, in which students research a dissertation, that is an extended essay into an aspect of journalism of your choice. Alongside that, and this is where I was getting mixed up in the last slide, you would choose 2 modules of your choice each semester from the list there. Journalism placement, that I was just telling you about. The second, sports journalism module, political journalism, investigative journalism, advanced broadcast journalism, freelance and entrepreneurial journalism, crime journalism, environmental journalism, space journalism, writing for public relations, media rights and responsibilities. That's your choice. And if you wanted to study journalism with creative writing, you would replace one of those choices each term with a creative writing module. So we have the first of our 2 joint programs, journalism and media and journalism and marketing. You'll see in the first year on both programs you'd study news basics, features journalism, ethics and regulation, and radio journalism. Those are the core practical modules. If you wanted to do journalism and media, you would study introduction to media and communication and studying media and communication alongside them. And if you wanted to do journalism and marketing, you would be doing principles of marketing, business economy and society, consumers, brands and digital marketing, and managing digital technologies in the marketing side of that degree. In the second year, you can see on both programs, you would study digital and social media marketing and media research. But in the journalism and media program, you then have a choice of modules which are listed there: production of news, magazine journalism, journalism perspectives, introduction to sports journalism, journalism studies, data journalism, political communication, identity and popular culture, and global media. Whereas in the marketing side, you wouldn't actually get any choice in the marketing side. You would study strategic brand management, consumer behavior, marketing, communications and digital media, and marketing intelligence. In the third year on these 2 programs, you would do the publishing project and the dissertation, as I mentioned earlier. And then you would, if you were a journalism and media student, you would choose from that long list of optional modules, 2 in each semester, 2 in the first semester and 1 in the second semester. And then if you were doing journalism and marketing, you do publishing project and dissertation, but also business in the digital economy, crisis management and entrepreneurship. I have to say there is no optional choice in the BA journalism and marketing, because the modules that you are studying are deemed to be essential for your understanding in those areas. But there is within the modules, there's a degree of choice as to how you actually study those areas. Finally, journalism and English, 50-50 split again, and you'll see the same for journalism modules at the top there: news, features, ethics and radio. And then in the English side of the degree, the novel around the world, Renaissance drama, Shakespeare and his contemporaries. In the second year, you can see 2 core modules: digital and social media journalism and critical perspectives 1. And then you will choose other modules from that list there. Now, in English and journalism, it is slightly more complicated, because you have to decide where you're going to do your dissertation, which area you're going to focus on in your third year, and that would determine which modules you do. It's quite complicated. So if you chose to do your English dissertation, you would prepare for that in the second year and do journalism modules alongside it. If you chose to do a journalism dissertation, you do researching the researching journalism module and do English modules alongside that. And finally, in the third year, well, what a choice you get if you do journalism and English. So you do the publishing project, that's a module each semester, plus a dissertation in one or other of your subjects, and then a huge list of optional modules to choose from. And what you chose would depend on where you decided to put your dissertation. Health warning on all of this. These are the modules that we would like to offer to our students. They're all approved to be offered to our students, but they may not all be offered every year because the choice of modules varies according to factors such as student uptake and staff availability. So as I say, we cannot 100% guarantee that all these modules will be available. We would like to offer them if we could and if we had in uptake from students. One of the big factors on not offering modules is simply that sometimes students don't want to do those modules, so they don't have enough students on them. But as I say, hopefully we can offer as many as possible. So moving on, so that was the content of the course, and I'm just going to conclude now by telling you a few more things about the university. First of all, very important to students, how are we assessed? We have interactive workshops. That's how we mostly teach journalism. We have lectures, we have seminars, we do a lot of practical work, a lot of group work. We offer students do portfolios and also essays, and there are still, I think, some exams left, although not in the journalism part of the programs. Just to sort of go back to your core question that you'll be asking, really, why should you come to Leicester? Well, we pride ourselves on the way we support our students. Every student has a personal tutor. If you're a journalism student, that personal tutor will come from among the journalism team. We've got 24/7 campus security. We've got a very well-resourced wellbeing service that students can ask for support from. We've got an accessibility team which looks after students with learning differences. We've got counselling service, safe zone, nightline, mentoring, and in the library is the Centre for Academic Achievement that can help students with specific learning queries. As I say, you'll have a dedicated personal tutor from the journalism team. You'll meet them in Welcome Week and they'll support you throughout the course. They'll stay with you for the 3 years you're on the course. Indeed, I've been seeing some of my personal tutees just today to find out how their first semester has gone and to plan ahead for their second semester. We have a fantastic program support office which supports the administration of the programs and the students on it. We have student representation on the Student Voice Committee, student societies where students can meet up with different students, not necessarily on their course or in their accommodation, and we've got central university support with a wealth of services in both from the university and the Students' Union. Here's some stats for you. We have guaranteed accommodation for all first-year students, and there's a free shuttle bus service from our Oadby Student Village campus. Some more details on accommodation, guaranteed accommodation for first years. There's a real range of accommodation. Events are put on. There's a 24/7 accommodation team, high-speed Wi-Fi, which I know is very important to everybody. And in the Oadby Student Village, there's a sports centre and catering outlets. And the Oadby Student Village has a mixture of old and new buildings. The facilities you can see in the picture on the left there is our new Freeman's Common accommodation, which has only been open for a couple of years. So that's more high-rise city-based accommodation, and the village is more low-rise sort of suburban accommodation. We've got the Students' Union. And as I say, there's a lot going on there, and with an O2 Academy actually on the site of the Students' Union building there. And here are some stats. You'll get offered statistics from many different, all the universities you visit will give you their best statistics. These are ours, but you can see there we are, you know, if I was to say we're sort of in the top 30 in the UK, you can see that those stats will bear that out. A stat that's not on there, but I actually worked out from going through the Times and Sunday Times Good University Guide, is Leicester was the 27th best university in the UK in that guide, which is thought to be the most influential and the most authoritative. But if you look closely at that guide, you will see only one English university above us in that league table offers journalism as an undergraduate degree. So we are the second best university in England where you can study journalism, and I think that should be one of the factors that you consider when you think about where you would like to study journalism. And that's it for this presentation. I'm very happy to take some questions. If you've got general questions, you can email us at study@le.ac.uk. If you have journalism specific questions, feel free to contact me, dr.clark@le.ac.uk. So thank you very much for viewing this presentation about studying journalism at the University of Leicester. I hope you found it interesting. If you have any more questions, please have a look at the email addresses on the last slide. Give us a shout and we will do what we can to help you. But otherwise, I wish you the best of luck in your exams and in your search for an excellent higher education course. Thank you very much.